Speaking of UAVs over New Jersey,
Take a look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, at least 5 lights, 6 lights. I didn't believe what I was seeing. But what was I seeing?
today we're talking about the time that America decided to strap a 180-pound bomb onto a more or less unguided or, bro-mathed, programmed UAV in World War I. This baby is the grandfather of SpaceX. Let's talk about it. Did you know that the first UAVs were developed in World War I, circa 1917 timeframe? We're talking 11 years before the invention of bubblegum. The British had the aerial target, but today we are talking about America's Kettering Bug. What is it? How did it work? And how is it the grandfather of SpaceX? Technical notes. Armament, 180 pounds of high explosive. Engine, 1 Diploma V4, producing up to 40 horsepower. Maximum speed, 120 miles per hour. Freedom miles per hour, mind you. Range, 75 miles. Wingspan, 14 feet, 11 and a half inches. Length, 12 feet, 6 inches. Height, 4 feet, 8 inches. Weight, 530 pounds. Loaded. The Bug was capable of striking ground targets up to 75 miles from its launch point, traveling at speeds of up to 50 miles per hour. In November of 1917, 6 months after America declared war against Germany, the U.S. Army Aircraft Board asked Charles Kettering to design an unmanned flying machine which could hit targets at a range of 40 miles. So Kettering, with Orville Wright from the Wright brothers, acting as a consultant, got to work designing the Bug. With the help of Elmer and Brose Sperry to design the control and guidance system, a piloted developmental aircraft was built. The Bug being powered by a 2-stroke V4, 40 horsepower Diploma engine, which Ford Motor Company mass-produced for about $40 each. The fuselage was constructed of a wood laminate paper mache, making it the deadliest art project at the science fair. Probably. The total cost of each Bug was $400, or about $9,864 today. The Bug used a dolly and track system, meaning they pushed it down an incline to yeet it into the sky. Not unlike the Wright brothers did for their first plane, right? Once launched, a small onboard gyroscope guided the aircraft to the predetermined target using a pneumatic vacuum system, an electric system, and an aneroid barometer/altimeter. A mechanical system would then be devised to track the aircraft's distance flown relative to the air, taking into account wind speed and direction along the flight, right? They mechanically programmed each one by calculating the rotations the engine would need to reach its destination. And once the total revolution counter reached its value, the cam dropped out, which caused the engine to shut off. It retracted the bolts out of the wings, which subsequently would fall off, right? Leading the Bug to dive bomb in a ballistic trajectory into the target, detonating the payload of 180 pounds of explosives. But hold on. So let's go back. They pre-programmed this thing that had no way to update its programming. What if the winds changed along the path? And then once it got to wherever it said, oh, we're done, we reached 10,000 rotations, probably way more, we're just going to drop the wings off and 180 pounds of explosives, ideally not over Allied forces, right? So despite the initial success, thankfully the officers worried about the reliability considering explosives and Allied troops. They weren't really trying to blow up their boys. So from 1917 to 1920, the U.S. government spent $275,000, $3.1 million taxpayer dollars on the Bug, a device which was arguably a horrible idea. And had they flown it, I mean, the winds could have changed and blown up, anybody, anything within a 75-mile radius, 75 freedom miles, right? That is insanity to me. It is neat to see. It is neat to see that was the initial step of today's drones, torpedoes, so on and so forth. But that is psychotic. So the ones over New Jersey, I mean, hey, at least they are controlled. I mean, they're probably spying on us, but, they're controlled. In 1917, Charles Kettering of Dayton, Ohio, invented the unmanned Kettering aerial torpedo, nicknamed the Bug, launched from a 4-wheel dolly that ran down a portable track. The Bug system of preset pneumatic and electrical controls stabilized and guided it toward the target. After a predetermined length of time, a control closed an electrical circuit would shut off the engine, then the wings would be released, causing the Bug to plunge to earth where its 180 pounds of high explosive detonated on impact. Less than 50 of these were built before the armistice. Thankfully, the Bug never saw combat because that would have been a tad that's almost as sketchy as the time that we put nukes in like rocket launchers, RPGs, and then gave them to grunts and said, good luck, don't be in the blast radius. You're going to be in the blast radius. Good luck. If you like this, stick around. I'm going to do a series on just drones history. I really like technology. I really like doing a deep dive into technology, where it came from, how it was initially made. And this mechanical system, this mechanical pre-programmed system, is the grandfather of SpaceX. This is where it started.
Conversations with me.